Hi everyone, welcome back to CrochetRocks. My name's Tracy and this is a tag. I've been tagged by the glorious Granny D from Knit, Purl and Squirrel. Doesn't sound the same in English. Knit, Purl and Squirrel. It really doesn't have that ring to it, does it? But Knit, Purl and Squirrel with Granny D Thompson. And she's tagged me in this hashtag Whatdoyoucallit. And I've written them all nice and big, so hopefully I can see them without having to put the light on. I've also been tagged in a summertime tag, and hopefully I'll be able to see them because I didn't write those out, but hopefully it'll be all right. So basically this is very similar and along the same lines as what I do on my Rocks Chat vlog every morning, where I do a word of the day, or sometimes it's just a funny word like whatdoyoucallit, or sometimes it can be a word that's different in the US or across the pond in any other area than the UK. And some words are different within the UK, like one of them, and I'll tell you which one it is when we get to it. So I kind of do a little feature like this already, so I figured that'd be kind of cool for me to do this one. So basically there are 20 questions all about what do you call it. So what do you call cooking on an outside grill? Barbecue. That's what it is over here. It's just a barbecue or a barbie. That's what we do. What do you call carbonated beverages? Well, there are parts of the UK that will call it pop, and mostly up north we'll call it pop. But we just call it fizzy, or we'll call it by its name. So we'll call it Coke or lemonade or Fanta. You know, we'll call it by its name. But I don't ever think of anything other than just I'll have some fizzy. But, you know, that covers a multitude, doesn't it? So I will just call it by its name, normally. What do you call the thing you push your groceries around in? A trolley. It's the shopping trolley. And I know that other parts of the country call them something else. But trolleys, they're trolleys, shopping trolleys. What do you call the bugs that light up at night? Well, nothing, because we don't really have them. You know, our bugs don't really light up, but from films I've seen them and they call them fireflies. That's what I'm used to them as. I mean, I have heard them referred to as lightning bugs and stuff like that, but we don't really have them over here. If it keeps getting hotter, then you never know. So what do you call, or how do you say, the word that is spelt P-E-C-A-N-S? Pecans. They're pecans. Pecan nuts. We call them pecans or pecan nuts. So pecans. Pecans? Now this is the one. What do you call the last piece of bread in a loaf? This is the one that I was trying to say. All over the country they call it different things. So I come from North London, and where the part of North London that I came from always referred to it as a knobby. It was the knobby. So if I said to Gary, do you want the knobby? He has no idea what I'm talking about. They didn't call it a knobby. So he came from Colchester. Well, he came from South London as well. I mean, he was born in Colchester, but they moved to South London. I don't know what that was. But they didn't call it a knobby. So yeah, it varies all over the country. But for us, knobby. How do you pronounce C-A-R-A-M-E-L? Well, it's caramel. And I've heard it called caramel, but that's got an A in it that isn't said if you call it caramel. It's caramel. Caramel. What do you call the athletic footwear? So Granny D did mention this, that when she was over here they called it trainers, and we do. That's what we call athletic footwear. Now I had a pen friend who came from, well, she came from Miami, but she lived in Texas, and she called them one day when I was talking to her on the phone and I said I got a new pair of trainers, she was very, very confused and thought I was talking about training pants and that I had some kind of problem. So I said, no, what do you call them then? And she said sneakers or tennis shoes. Well, tennis shoes are pretty specific. They're usually plimsolls to us because they're those, if you wear them for school, sometimes you have to have black ones, but, you know, mostly you have white ones and they laced up. And those are tennis shoes. They're plimsolls. So trainers are pretty specific. They're usually names like Reebok, Nike, or Nike, whichever way you want to say it. And those kind of brands. Obviously, there's millions of brands, but they all have the same kind of characteristics. They are trainers. And I suppose it's because originally you went training in them. You did your training. But now that has kind of developed into running shoes, and there's trainers for all different kinds of things. But one thing she did say that wasn't the same for me was that when she was over here, they didn't tend to wear them with their jeans. They kind of just wore them for training. But no, I've only ever known people wear them for fashion ever since I was a child. Teenager, I would say. They've been fashion wear. Originally, before that, they were, you know, people who were athletic wore them, but they became fashion wear when I was a teenager, and they've been fashion wear ever since. So you do get specific ones for a function, like Paul loves his running trainers, but he does go running, and they're usually very lightweight. So you do get them where people use them for what they're actually intended, but mostly they're fashion, and they're trainers, and we do wear them with jeans, and we wear them with anything. I've seen people wear them with a dress. Just saying. What do you call the lobster looking creature that comes from fresh water? Crayfish. That's a crayfish. And I had one when I was a child. My dad brought this crayfish home. I wanted to keep it as a pet. It died. Didn't eat it. What do you call the water tap, inside or outside? A tap. It's just a tap. Yeah. Outside tap, inside tap. We don't refer to it as an inside tap. Just refer to it as a tap. But I was trying to get my outside tap fixed yesterday. But yeah, just a tap. What do you call the liquid that makes a car go? Well, petrol or diesel, because we've got a petrol car and a diesel car outside, but we would just call it petrol. And a lot of people say I've got to go and get petrol, even if they mean diesel. They just call it petrol. What do you call the space at the back of your car? A boot. I know. It's a boot. And Granny did mention that one as well. But yeah, we do have car boot sales. Car boot sales. This part of the neck of the woods, it's a car boot fair. But other parts of the country, when I was talking to people, I had no idea what a boot fair was. It was a boot sale, car boot sale. But we did have car boots. And we got a bonnet at the front, when your engine tends to be underneath that. And a boot at the back, a bonnet and a boot. I don't know why they're called that. What do you call lights that regulate traffic? Traffic lights. They're just traffic lights. What do you call the place you buy alcohol from? So that basically that's evolved. It used to just be off licence, because a pub is a licensed premises and a shop where you go buy your alcohol was an off licence. So they would be licensed to sell off sales. That's why it was called that. But now there's not so many off licenses, because you can buy it in a supermarket, or obviously there's pubs, but you can buy it anywhere now. You can even buy it in B&M and places like that. They have their like little bottles of booze, so you buy it anywhere now. But it used to be off license. What do you call the thing for switching the TV on and off? Remote. So it's obviously remote control, but we just call it the remote. My mother-in-law used to call it the clicker. But yeah, most of us call it just a remote. What do you call the place you get your meds? Traditionally, chemist is a chemist shop. But obviously with, you know, things, outside influences coming over into this country, pharmacy. And that you sometimes see the word pharmacy on the sign. So it can be pharmacy, because when I grew up, it was a chemist. What do you call breakfast that you eat with syrup? Well, nothing, because I don't do that kind of thing. It wasn't an English breakfast. I think over the years since, we had shops kind of like Frankie and Benny's pop up, where they would do kind of Italian New York kind of food. And when we see it kind of infiltrate into our country, because people have it on their movies and TV shows. So yeah, we do see pancakes with maple syrup on certain menus now, and I guess some people make them because they like them. But in this country, traditionally, we didn't have anything that had syrup on it. So, but it would be pancakes, I reckon. I don't know. Do people put pancakes on them? Oh, sorry, put syrup on their muffins? I don't know. I've lost where I was at. I found it. What do you call the thing that gives you info about streets and roads? Well, that's obviously evolved too, because back in the day it was a road atlas for a big one. So if you wanted to go from one end of the country to the other, you would have a road atlas. So you'd have a big book of road maps called a road atlas, or you would have just a big map. But those things, Granny D was saying about the fact that, you know, you need a PhD in origami to fold them back up again, but you do. The times that, you know, mine just went out of shape and just ended up getting folded 20 million times. But yeah, big old maps or a road atlas. Sometimes if it's to do with, say, you had one of London, it might be called an A to Z. And yeah, you'd get the A to Z out, or the road atlas or the map book. When I worked for the ambulance service, we had map books. We had map books for all over Kent, and would have them sort of in an area, so that if anybody couldn't tell us where they were, we would open it up and we'd try and find them and call that a map book. So yeah, anything from road atlas, map book, maps. But now obviously sat nav. So that thing which tends to either be in your car, or you buy it and you plug it in to your cigarette lighter and it tells you where to go, would be a sat nav. But that's kind of evolved now to Google Maps. But yeah, sat nav would be your GPS. What do you call the machine you get cash from? So I've heard them referred to as ATMs, but most people call them a cash point, or I've got to go and get some money at the cash point. And last, but by no means least, sweets on a stick, which I'm surprised that you called it sweets on a stick and not candy on a stick, because as we all know, we call it sweets, and across the pond you call it candy. So sweets on a stick is a lollipop. A lollipop, but you know, you can get some of them now, or you could always have had some of them that are like chews on a stick. So like lollipops tend to be the glacier ones where you just suck on them and crunch them, as I do. I would always crunch, but they're clear and they're sucky sweets. But you also get chews on a stick, which are called drumsticks. But they're all, even so, they're still just called lollipops. So now I've got to think of who to tag. Who shall I tag? Let's see. I'm going to tag Madonna Ballad and Linda Just a Crochet Sister. And who else shall I tag? Ooh, Kerry the Yarny Elephant. She can be tagged. And I'm going to tag Reggie. So you need to tell them. I think I'll have one more tag because I'm greedy that way, you know. Who should I tag? Let's think. Oh, think of some names. Think of some names. I'm going to tag Krista from The Secret Yarnery. So that's 5 people. Should we have 6? Because a lot of people don't like odd numbers. You know, if I'm in the car This is just a little bit of information. And we're driving along. Gemma and Charlotte, if you turn the radio up, or the stereo, and it's on an odd number, they make you put it up one more. They can't do it on an odd number. Why? I don't know, but they just don't. So I need one more person. Let's do David Brown in, shall we? Yeah. I think that's a good idea. So you guys will have to tell them, for me, that they've been tagged. Unless they watch me, of course, then they know. So thanks for watching. Stay safe. Take care. And I hope you like that little bit of fun. I do, as I say, something very similar on my channel anyway. I have a word of the day and a joke of the day on my morning vlog, whatever you want to call it. So on my Slim Chats, which is on my other channel, CrochetRocks, I do movie quote of the day, and I always try my best to act it. So that's well worth a watch. If you haven't already subscribed to that channel, there will be a link in the description box. Please come along. I do a morning vlog after my Rocks chat, and a lot of people really enjoy the movie quote of the day. So thanks for watching. As I said, I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.